Step, something in my jeans. FOI, you know that's the team, huh?
Peace. This is your brother Aidan X, and welcome to the processing class. How did you not succumb to the pressure of, when you leave that lifestyle, the money that you're making with it?
Yes, sir.
The reputation, you're looked upon with a certain reputation. How did you not, succumb to the pressure of, me being in the nation? I may not be making the money I was making with the gang, or I may not have, the hard reputation that I had with the gang. So how did you deal with that?
Well, easy, brother. I did 15 years. They didn't. You got to think for other people. You got to learn how to think for other people and, allow your past not to consume you, but allow your past to continue to keep you reminded to stay corrected for your future. You say, man, I just did 15 years. I left a son. My son is 21 years old right now. I left my son. He wasn't even born yet. When I came home, my son was 15 years old. 2 years ago, my son was shot 8 times and paralyzed from neck down. And he lives on a breathing machine right now. And he's still paralyzed from neck down. And just to see my reflection of me, a younger me, that lived the life that I lived, not having a father, having to grow up in a neighborhood that I grew up from and be saturated from the same things that I was saturated from, and what's so crazy, he became a Crip. He was, Crip to his heart, so it was like, man, but through the course of me doing time, my family, my father, my mother would bring my son down when he was young. And I could see the struggle in his eyes of having the lack of a father not in his life, just having, can you imagine his mom, my son's mother, she hustled. So she was a street girl, she hustled, so whoever she was dealing with, whatever boyfriend she had, that was the reflections of a part of him growing up as well. So all this, none of this never dawned on me until I came into the teachings of the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad, being represented, of course, by the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan. So that's when everything just started to hit me. So when all this stuff hits you, and because a lot of time, man, we never think that something gonna hit home. We think everything about, we'll see tragedies and we will see horrific things happen to people outside of us, and we say, damn, we may feel sympathy, but at the end of the day, we're not feeling it because it's not us. And this is why it's important that the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan say that when one of our brothers suffer, we have to feel that. We have to be able to feel and say, man, damn, another one. You know what I'm saying? Because until we're able to feel literally what's going on, we're not connected. So we have to continue to see that when we see, no matter where the brother is at, no matter if he's on the West Coast, Midwest, East Coast, South, I don't care where you at, we see something going on, we say, damn, because when we look at the black man, the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad said, we're looking at God. And he also said, when you look at your brother, in the word brother, you have the word other. You seeing your other self. So until we're able to understand that, we'll continue to move with no feelings, no emotion. So that's why I believe that I've done so much study, young God. I did a lot of study, Christianity, Jew, Hebrew, Egyptologist. I've had 15 years, man, to study so much. Occidental philosophies, Oriental philosophies. I've studied Gnostics. I studied so much stuff, and still, when I came into the teachings, man, I found no flaws. I found no loopholes. And I think that's what allowed me to go even further, because I was looking for the flaws. I was looking for the fault in the teachings, but I never found anything. And as I continued to search and I never found anything, it would just make my faith even more stronger. So I knew once I came home, this is what I was going to, be that mediator from the streets, what I represented, and be able to represent something better and be able to know the language from the two and be able to be the mediator and bring brothers from this side to this side to let them know, yeah, I got the tattoos, yeah, I got the gold, but I'm showing you that you can come the way you are, but you can't stay that way. But more than anything, we're showing the people how the power of Allah, the power of the teachings can change anything.
Yes, sir. Earlier you said that you was looking for the flaws, you was looking for the loopholes.
Yeah.
What are some misconceptions that you think young brothers or young women watching this have of the Nation of Islam?
Yes, sir. First of all, of course, the Malcolm situation, that's been popular for decades. You know, the Malcolm situation, right? Y'all kill Malcolm, and you know, you hear that so much. And another one is, oh, y'all think God is a man, is a human being, you know, and but that's a lack of the way we were shaped, the way we was, you know, shaped in iniquity, not knowing ourselves, not knowing the reality of God, you know, not knowing all the functions of the human being, how it's connected to science and math, and how it's connected to the supreme being. Those misconceptions is the main thing. Is Allah is not a human being, because even in the Sunni community, they don't believe that Allah is a human being. They believe Allah is beyond imagination, beyond our understanding, and that's the main conception of that people have of the Nation of Islam, and also the discipline. You know, we're shaped so we're comfortable. You know, I heard Malcolm X say that the hardest thing to do, and also the most honorable, Master Father Muhammad, to whom praise is due forever, he told the most honorable Elijah Muhammad, brother, he said, brother, you have the hardest assignment more than any human being that's ever lived. You have to raise up people that are dead that don't even know that they're not dead. So how do you teach a people the truth that don't even know that they're not even living in the truth? You got so many people that are die on what they believe. I mean, go put their life on the line for falsehood, for deceptive intelligence. So the only thing that can come between you and that person is being able to activate the God within themselves. That's only up to Allah. That's why in the Quran, Allah says, no matter who strives to guide you aright, if it's not my will, it would not be. And he also says on the flip side, no matter who try to keep you away from the truth, if I will you to be the chosen one or the chosen ones of the truth, whatever they bring will not stop you from being able to activate the reality of the God that's in you. You know, so I look at all of that, man, but I think those be the biggest, you know, misconceptions, the Malcolm and God not being a human being.
Yes, sir. You were just talking about, you know, the raising the dead. For those watching that may not understand, what does that mean, to raise the dead? Does that mean you're literally gonna go to the graveyard and raise up people from the dead, or what is the meaning in that?
Yeah, of course. Raising the dead is, we believe in the Nation of Islam that when we speak about resurrecting the dead, we're not talking about physical. We're talking about spiritual and mental. Okay, physical death is something that's inevitable, that has to happen. All right. When we in the Quran, Allah says to study my creation. So as we study the creation, if we are direct descendants from the God, from the supreme being, if we have all the attributes, I'm talking about the black man and woman, if we have all the attributes of Allah that he explains clearly in the Bible and in the Holy Quran, if we have all of these things, okay, and he says in the Quran to study my creation. Well, when we study the creation, we look at the lower animals of this world, and when one of their own pass, you can see how they mourn their own. So that is a sign that Allah is showing us that after this, physically, there is no more. See, the intelligence in those lower animals know that's it. The elephants, for example, when one of their own pass, they grieve, they get their trunks, they rub the body, they go over it. Even the little ones you can see standing behind their mom, you can just see the grief of all of the animals that are mourning their young, or mourning one of their lost ones. That is a sign that Allah is showing us in the intelligence that there is nothing more beyond the grave. Also, Solomon said in the Holy Bible that the grave ends all things, and there is nothing more beyond the grave. That's in the Bible, brother. And I tell Christians all the time, what does this mean? Let's go right to Ecclesiastes and let's look at it. So if this is a representation of God, which he is a prophet of God, why would he say this? What does this mean? There is nothing more beyond the grave, and the grave ends all knowledge. What does that mean? I've never come across any Christian to be able to explain that and give me the understanding of that. So, and actually, I've had a few brothers that have seen that I've dialogued with, couldn't answer it, and came over to the life-giving teachings of the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad.
Oh, praise be to Allah. Yes, sir.
Yes.